hundreds, if not thousands of businesses across Sydney, across Greater Sydney, are looking at a pretty grim couple of weeks ahead. Joining me now is Rami Ykmour, the founder of Rashays. Rami, thanks so much for your time. This meeting is underway at the moment. I think as this lockdown continues and if restrictions continue, it will be untenable for the federal government not to offer extra support. What would you say if you were in this meeting right now?
Laura, I would be urging them, please bring back JobKeeper. We need to keep our staff employed. Mental health is a big thing in our industry, and I'm talking on behalf of the on behalf of the hospitality industry, especially the dining industry. We need people to stay out there. We need to keep people employed, and businesses need support. There's a lot of businesses out there in the restaurant industry, and I know friends of mine who have closed their restaurants down, and they've completely closed forever now. We're not in a good place. So please, I would ask for a good government grant. I would ask for any support, financial support right now that they can come up with.
Rami, I know you're grateful for what has been on offer so far, but when we talk about these government grants of $10,000 for a company like yours, for Rashays there, does it even touch the sides?
That does nothing. That does absolutely nothing for us. That is nowhere near close enough. At the moment, we are keeping people employed using company cash flow. There is no way, but that is so important. It's so important for us. What is important for me and what we did with the first lockdown is to keep our people employed. So JobKeeper must return, and we can't wait because people we've got to give clear answers. We need to have a clear roadmap. We need to tell the people out there, and not just for Rashays, not just for my business, but for mum and dad businesses who have restaurants. They need a clear roadmap ahead, knowing what's going on. That, believe me, the situation is not good.
Gladys Berejiklian has said that she's going to release a roadmap even when this lockdown ends, how restrictions might look, how businesses like yours may be able to operate. What do you need once we see that roadmap? Just clear parameters, some certainty about how you can operate?
Absolutely. Look, we don't even have a clear communication with the government at the moment. We don't know when we're opening, when we're closing. We're waiting for the 9 o'clock news. Sorry, for the 11 o'clock, for the 11 a.m. update. We're tuning into Sky News to see what we're doing next. When you have a restaurant business, we have perishable items. When do we order? What do we do? At the moment, the situation has never been that bad, especially in the hospitality business. And maybe give us some targets. What numbers do we have to hit? What is the vaccination numbers that we need? Sorry, not vaccination. Sorry, what is the number of what's the word I'm looking for? Like what numbers do we have to hit? What sort of people are? You get what I'm saying. Sorry,
I get what you're saying, Rami. I get what you're saying, and it is loud and clear. Don't worry about that. No one could misconstrue what you're trying to tell us this morning, that you need a clear roadmap. You need to know how you can operate your business, not just for the next couple of weeks, but for the next couple of months. I mean, it's good to hear that you'll be tuning in at 11 a.m. to hear the latest update. It's not going to be good news. We know that the numbers are going to go up. I guess what I want to ask you as well is about, the adaptation. You've adapted a lot over the last 15 months. You've, provided takeaway services. Many in the business in your area have. But are you reaching now the end of the line as to what you can do just to keep your head above water?
Absolutely. We're at breaking point, and my staff are looking at me, and I've got my franchisees and other people in the community who are looking at us out west and saying, hey, what's next? What are we going to do? And honestly, we have fought for so long. Like, I know people have these families out there who have worked every single day in their business, and it's like it's at a point now, what's next? What is next when you've been fighting for so long, especially, and then you get this now lockdown and then followed by an extra week? People are really lost. They're really, really confused and unsure. Yeah. Like what I said, we need some very, very clear communication.
Look, I know you're grateful for JobKeeper as well, and the federal government spent $80 billion in keeping businesses like you operating in the last year alone. But just explain to us, JobKeeper was so helpful last time. It did keep you paying your staff. It allowed you to keep your staff on. But this lockdown is really different, isn't it? Can you just explain, the different competing pressures between those two times?
Absolutely. The fact there's no JobKeeper this time, the fact that people have already been fighting for so long, and what I'm trying to say is, and I want to push back on the mental health. I want to push back on the fact that unless we get some clear information about this JobKeeper and we introduce it urgently, we need to bring it back urgently. We need to tell our staff. Our staff are they're looking at us for answers, and honestly, we don't know what to say to them. And things are a lot more difficult. The first time, everyone was in shock. There was also the shock of safety. I mean, people were a lot more scared for their life than what they are today. That's a God honest truth. We've survived. Up to now, the government has done a great job. It's kept us safe. The numbers have been very good. But now they're thinking, hang on a second, what about our mental state? What's going on? What is we're looking at other countries, we're watching the European soccer overnight, we're watching Wimbledon, and they're thinking, why are we behind? What's going on here? It's time for some, strong leadership and strong direction, and time to say, hey guys, this is where we're going.
Rami, I think it's important that you raise the mental health issue here. I mean, the pressure is just too much for some people. A lot of people in the industry, a lot of people in the community. How are they doing? Are they coping? What do they need in terms of not just the support we're talking about, but that mental health support?
I'm telling you, I'm really, really concerned this time. Really concerned. Like what I said to you earlier, I know mum and dads that have closed down their restaurants. I know of mum and dads that are about to give up. I've got franchisees out there that own restaurants. They're on the phone to me permanently. I'm out there trying to support, to speak to people. But at what point, how much can we push each other? How much, now we're starting to sound like frauds. It's getting to a point where people aren't starting to believe. When we say it's an extra week of lockdown, people aren't silly. They're seeing the numbers. They're seeing the numbers grow. And if we listen to Brad Hazard yesterday, he's saying, look, potentially those numbers are going to keep on growing and we're just going to have to let it roll in the community. So they're thinking, so why should we go into lockdown? People are almost starting to fight they're starting to fight their own battles instead of listening to the government. And I urge the people, and saying that point, I urge the people to continue listening to the government, to continue to follow their advice. And I know they're turning up to try and make the best decision possible for us. But guys, and when I say guys, I mean the government, please, let's have clearer communication.
Rami, thanks so much. You've been loud and clear this morning. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much. Thank you.